Shaw, digital life writer at the Vancouver Sun, and I'm at the F5 Expo here with Scott Michaels from Atimi Software. Now, his company is one of the early developers of iPad applications. I wanted to ask you, Scott, do you have applications already out of the gate in the App Store for the iPad?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have applications that are out there now and more that are under production.
Can you tell us about them, or can you tell us about the differences in developing for the iPad and the iPhone?
Sure. So we've done a lot of iPhone applications already. When developing for the iPad, you generally change it to be more action-oriented, so that you're actually, say, less broadcasting of information and more trying to actually accomplish things with an iPad.
Can you tell us about some? Now, you were telling me you're doing one for ESPN.
Yeah. So we've been doing work with ESPN and HBO.
So what are the what does the lead time take to develop those apps? And
sure. So if there already is an existing iPhone application that we're using as the base, then it's about, say, another 6 weeks to produce an iPad-specific version for it, which is customized. Or if we're building it from scratch, generally a timeline is about 3.5 months.
Does the new iPad, having a new platform like this coming out, does that represent a real opportunity for developers like your company?
It does for companies like us. I mean, we do work for other people that have sort of the budget to produce good quality applications. I think that it's not so much a gold rush as I think some people portray it as. It's very difficult to get your app noticed. It's very difficult to sort of own the market or be a number one app. And so, but certainly if you're a big brand or if you have a good productivity idea for an application, you can still have good success.
Already have an iPad in hand,
Yes.
Of course. And how do you like it so far?
Oh, I mean, I really like it. I can see that it's going to replace the whole netbook market just because of the number of apps that work on it right away. And the way that iPhone apps work on it right now. For example, the Canucks app, this is it running right now, and we didn't do any work on this yet, and it's going to run on the iPad on day one as soon as people get it, and then we may make an iPad-specific one, but time will tell on that.
So you are of the school of thought that sees this as a netbook killer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that netbooks, you see, it's in the very similar price range as a netbook, and that it has more than 150,000 apps available to you the day that you buy it, sort of really hurts the netbook market, sort of owns it in that way. Plus it plays so nice with the rest of the Apple ecosystem.
So Scott, some people have been saying that there could be a bit of a lag with the popularity of the iPad in Canada because there are not as many apps that work here. In fact, some of the ones, some of the people that you're working for are U.S. companies. Is that going to be a problem?
It's going to continue to be the same problem that it is now. So the interesting thing is the Canadian App Store is a separate store than the U.S. store. So not all apps actually that appear in Canada exist. So like, for example, the app that we did for HBO, you can't get it in Canada unless you have a U.S.-based iTunes account, which very, very few people have here. And that's going to continue to be a problem. It's the same thing as people see on the desktop with Hulu and some of these sort of media streaming services that CanCon rights and music rights don't allow such applications to broadcast their content into Canada.
Do you think that's going to be a bit of a stumbling block for the adoption of the iPad in Canada? Is it going to be as popular as it is proven in the U.S. where people lined up to buy them?
I still think it will be really popular. I mean, what it is an opportunity for the Canadian companies to actually get bigger, higher placement, so they're not competing against some of these other companies. So some of the Canadian broadcasters you're going to see are going to have iPad-specific applications and iPhone applications, all of which will service that market, just like they do now with, say, licensing the content for showing. I think that it's certainly it's a double-edged sword. The consumers would wish to have it from the U.S. player, but they're going to be getting it from the Canadian companies.
So for the Canadian companies, they're in a bit of a smaller pond.
Yeah, a little bit, right? Because until those rights issues get solved,